Hey everyone, welcome back to the O Show, everything crypto every day. On tonight's episode, I have a very special guest. I have Aggie. He is the founder or the head of FOMO from Splinterlands. How are you doing today, Aggie?
Doing great. How's it going, Wendy?
I'm great. Thanks for coming on. And are you familiar with how 10-Minute Spotlight works?
I've been following your show for a little while, so I've seen a couple of these.
And you know you don't get to win anything, right?
That's my favorite part.
Okay, because maybe if we meet one day in person, I'll buy you tacos, but then I'll probably buy you 3 and probably eat 2.
One of the yeah. That's okay. Fair. That's how most of my relationships have worked.
I'm sorry to do that to you. Okay, are you ready to answer my questions?
As prepared as I think I can be.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put 10 minutes on the clock, and then you know how this goes. Okay, 3, 2, 1. We have 10 minutes on the clock. But I need you to kind of give me a quick background of who the heck you are.
Sure. So I'm a PhD chemist. I taught college, and I used a software that helped my kids. I told the publishing company it helped my kids. They hired me. They got purchased by one of the largest publishing companies in the worst, and I ended up doing sales up and down the East Coast at Harvard, Brown, Yale, University of Ohio, other giant schools. And it gave me this wonderful 10-year background of sales and marketing training in big orgs. And so simultaneously, I'm like a giant, I don't trust the government at all. I think they're a bunch of liars and thieves. And so when I was posting and writing, they kept, in 2012, Facebook was kicking me off. And I would tell people that, and they were like, you're a liar, nobody cares what you think. And I'm like, I'm pretty positive they are targeting me. So I was right at the vanguard of that, because now everybody just knows that you say something that they don't like and you get deplatformed. But anyways, that looking for that sort of freedom of sharing information got me into blockchain. And then I met my partner, Matt. Matt is an incredibly gifted coder and the lead developer of our project. And he was the one, CryptoKitties was blowing up. And he said, what I'd like to do is make a game. And I said, oh, it's funny you should mention that. I'm a game designer when I have spare time. I like making games more than I like playing games. So let's go build something and put it together. And that's the impetus of Splinterlands. And that's what tons of people are playing now.
Okay, so a little bit about me. I actually wanted to become a pharmacist before I did full-time crypto. Nice. And I respect you as a professor and somebody that's very smart in chem and all that stuff. But at the same time, chemistry was very challenging for me because I had to
I don't get high fives for that. Nobody's like, yay, chem.
I respect it because the STEM majors are very hard, but at the same time, it's we had to put, I just remember writing these really long reports on my findings. And I'm like, why can't I just say that this happened? And why am I writing a 30-page report on numbers that nobody cares about? Because when you mix calcium carbonate into something, anyways, let's get back to Splinterlands. Tell us, what is Splinterlands? Because I did my due diligence. It looks like a really fun game, but then there's NFTs, and you guys have been around first tell us how long you guys have been around.
Yeah, we got going in May of 2018. So a little over 3 years now. And so the game, it's a trading card game, and you buy cards, which are NFTs, and you use them to fight. And when you fight, you can earn fungible tokens in the game or non-fungible tokens in the game. We've given out millions of dollars in prizes. Those NFTs have, in the last year or so, 200x in value. You can rent these cards. So right now, it's somewhere between $10 and $20 million per year is what the owner community will be renting to the renting community. And that's a big part of play to earn that we like, of decks and trading card games can be pretty expensive, but when we introduce this rental aspect, you don't have to have $10,000 in a bank account to play. You can play for a couple bucks a day, earn that back, and hopefully more than that back, and participate in the economy that way without necessarily needing, $10,000 to put together a lineup.
There's a couple things I want you to break down because you gave us a lot of information. But when you're talking about the pay-to-play games, I'm noticing that it's starting to get expensive for some of them because first the barrier to entry was very low because the tokens weren't super expensive, but now a lot of these tokens are popping off. So the barrier to entry into a lot of these games is becoming expensive, and the masses even haven't even gotten a hold of them. So it's how can people that don't have money play these fun games? And it kind of just feels weird. It kind of takes away from the actual gameplay, in my opinion. Can you talk to us a little bit about how Splinterlands is combating that, or what you guys are doing?
Yeah, you're totally right. That's absolutely happening. So part of what we do that's different from other approaches to this is that we actually mint a new edition every year, and we're very upfront about the fact that we mint those cards every year. And we're going to continue to offer them at affordable prices, so that, you know, even if cards really go up in value because they're old and you can't get them anymore, and there's a collector's item to that, and there's benefits in the game for owning the older cards that aren't applied to the newer cards. There's a lot of cool stuff that's there, but, you know, we're still issuing new cards so that new people can come in and participate. So, you know, we've been sold out of cards for the last 3 months or so. We have our newest edition should be coming out in the next month or so. That's called Chaos Legion, and they'll be inexpensive. You know, it'll be, you know, a couple bucks here or there to go buy packs, and we want it to be affordable so that people all over the world have the ability to access this. You know, it's possible that if flippers and whales just come in and buy up everything and make it more expensive, but, you know, you should be able to go get some of these cards, because it's not like we're selling, you know, 1 million packs at a time. We typically limit this to about 500 packs per transaction, and so everybody gets an opportunity to get into this. But then the other part is just the rentals. I mean, having a rental market makes it so that, you know, you have a $2,000 card, but now it's only renting for, you know, I don't know, $1 a day or something. And so it takes the renters happy, because you get a return faster than you would with, like, if you were renting out a house or an apartment. It also doesn't have any of the maintenance. You know, I've done rental properties, and you got to fix the roof. You got to go, like, get in a fight with the tenant for why they didn't pay you, and they had COVID for a year, but they got unemployed, and it's not their fault, but they need the money, but they don't want to pay. Like, there's all this stuff, right? But there's none of that with, like, a 24-hour blockchain rental. It's just they paid, and then they canceled the rental after, and then here's this new person that comes in. So there's no, like, set of expenses that go with these. So it's, like, really one of the ultimate passive like income streams that I know of that's out there.
That's actually so awesome. And I really appreciate the way you broke it down, because I'm old, guys. I'm very, very old. Some of you may not know this, but I'm old. And I grew up, my aunt was really big into Magic the Gathering. So she had all those cards around. And even though I didn't play it, I used to play, I don't know if it was Dungeons and Dragons. It was another kind of like role-playing board game that we used to do. I used to play Return to Zork, all this kinds of interesting computer games when they first came out. And those games are fun. But I remember like of course with Magic the Gathering, like some of the older edition cards are going to be super valuable, but they still offered like the brand new pack, so you can still participate in the game. But like with a lot of the NFT projects, I feel that are like gameplay or play to earn, I feel like they're very hard to get into, and it's like people just get deterred because like, okay, well, I can't, you know, there's no renting like you guys have. And when it comes to the rental market, like, can you kind of elaborate a little bit more about that? Because I've heard about it before, but I kind of want you to explain better to the audience, because it's kind of like is it like a new part of NFTs that's came out?
Well, you have to have a system where you can earn, right? And so a lot of NFT projects don't have any kind of like earning to them. You know, you go and you buy a piece of art, you might have a social status for owning the art, but you don't get any kind of like rental or stream of income for owning it. And maybe that's not all of these cases, but that's some of the ones that we're talking about here. For us, every time that you win a match, you can earn. If you complete a daily quest, you can earn. If you finish well in a season, you can earn. If you own our assets, you can earn. If you fight in a tournament, you can earn. If you fight in a guild tournament, you can earn. And then there's probably other ways that are out there that I just can't think of right this second, but there's probably like a dozen ways that you can earn in our game. And because there's so much revenue at stake from the earning potential of this game, you're able to rent cards, and what you're trying to do is pay as little as you can to rent them to get as high in rank as you can, and your goal is to make so that the cost of rental are exceeded by how much you have earned in the period where you have rented them. And so in our game, at least, that's what we mean by play to earn, of like you're really fighting and battling. It's a very strategic game, and it's actually quite challenging. And you know, like what you do in the game is simple. You just click the summoner and click a couple monsters, but like figuring out which ones to do in every different rule set and every single different match is really complicated. And so that's what our play to earn system is built around, and the renters fit into that by, you know, they're typically people that don't have $10,000, $20,000. I mean, like, to own a top 10 deck in our game, you now have to own $1 million worth of cards. But a lot of those guys are not playing like, here's my $1 million deck versus everybody else. It's, you know, here's my deck and I'm renting out all these cards. We also have like limits in here, so we'll nerf cards. So like, if you have this mega expensive deck, but you happen to be playing in a lower league tournament, you're not going in with like, you know, some gigantic monster. They get nerfed down to level 1. And so yes, you still own this thing, but in this rule set, it only plays at a certain level with a set of abilities that are capped by that level. And so, you know, it's not an entirely level playing field, because the whale might still have more cards than somebody else, but at least they're not, you know, 8 times as powerful. They get level capped at the different like rule sets that we do.
That was our 10-minute mark, but I think that, like, I love the concept behind it, because I feel like you guys actually understand what's going on with the real world, and not everybody's got like a bunch of capital. Like on crypto Twitter, you'll go on there and everyone's like, I have this, I have that, I have this and that, but that's not real life. And like, I get some people like, you know, to gamble a bit, or they like to put, you know, a lot of money on the table, but realistically, who wants to put like $10,000 on the table to like play a game? Like, to me, that doesn't sound really fun, especially for like the younger generation, that they're out there gaming on their Xbox or doing whatever. And like, what 16 or 13-year-old has $10,000? And another thing is like with the CryptoPunks, like you can rent those out, I've seen, but it's like, why would you want to rent a CryptoPunk? Like that doesn't have utility, because it's not like you're able to get passive income, you're just getting clout. But with you guys, if you actually rent a specific card out, you're able to actually earn passive income. And a lot of people confuse the idea, like people think, oh, I'm buying an NFT and that's passive income. No, you're not getting passive income, because you're literally buying artwork. Like, unless you're able to like fractionalize it and trade it and then earn passive income on the royalties, you're really not getting passive income. Passive income is when, like, for example, when I have $100 in USDT and I put it on an app like Celsius and they give me the payouts every week or whatever, that's passive income. But just holding on to an NFT that's not paying you out, like, unless you're earning, you know, just because the value goes up, because you hold on to it, but unless you actually sell it, you're not getting that passive income. So anything else that you want to add before we get going here? Because this was fun.
Well, thanks for doing this. I'm hoping that your audience is receptive to this, that we have a really fun game, and I would encourage people to do that. As much as I like my game, I like my community even more. I mean, I think we have this idea that we all go to the same moon, and as a consequence, we try to help new players, and there's a good environment. Like a lot of these can be, you know, sort of toxic degen cesspools of masculinity or something. I don't know, but
or beta malignity.
But in our community, I just feel like we have a lot of good people that are looking out for other folks. There are still scammers, because it's still crypto, but I feel like
there's scammers in every industry. There's scammers in the textbook industry, in college, with, you know, we don't have to get down that hole, but there's scammers in every single industry. So just by just isolating and say, oh, it's crypto, no, there's bad actors in every industry, and it's just, you know, you just do your best to avoid them.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, hey, come here for the potential to earn, and then stay here for the life-altering experience where you interact with other fellow humans that are really great people and play this really fun game and sit on assets that, you know, can help you earn money while you're sitting on them. And hopefully there's more and more people competing for them as we continue to grow. Our growth rate is absurd right now. We're set to double every 3 weeks. So wow. It's just taking off, and it's been fantastic. So I'd ask your audience to come join us. Join us in the game at splinterlands.com. Join us in Discord. We're at discord.splinterlands.com. And you can join us at official or Splinterlands HQ on Telegram.
Awesome, you guys. I'm going to have all the links down below. Make sure before you ape into anything, make sure you understand how the game works. Make sure you talk with the community. Make sure it's something that you're interested in. And also, too, please understand that you don't have to spend a lot of capital. The barrier to entry into Splinterlands is very, very low. You can actually rent some of this stuff out to try it and see if you like it. And it's kind of like going into an arcade, tossing a couple quarters in, well, which now with inflation is probably like $50. I'm just kidding. But, you know, you can play it out first before you really start to invest or dive deep down that rabbit hole. But Aggie, thank you so much for your time, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.